Yo, what's good, everybody? You're listening to 93.5 K-Day. Nah, I'm just playing. We just got some new sounds.
You're listening to 127.3 The Sound.
Holy shit, where'd you find this at?
Ooh, there was a little dip in there. That happened twice. I saw that. That was nice.
It's Touchdowns and Tangents, episode 146, live from the Good News radio station. As always, to my right,
Kenneth St. Jamesbury. I swear I thought this was 147.
146, 147. Let's split the difference, 146.5.
And apparently we're sponsored by Magnum now.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're Magnum thin condoms, though.
Kind of toxic masculine, but...
I don't know. I don't think that's... According to Pharrell...
Oh my God, I'm not getting into this with you.
There's a new masculinity in town.
This is a no-fly zone.
Walking around looking like a fucking 90s... Like, fam, why did he literally look like...
He looked like a new evolution of Eevee.
Yeah, he literally looked like a 5%er in New York who still eats pork, combined with like a bacon, egg, and cheese and some Timbs.
Looks like...
That was the final form.
It's like when you find the Frock Stone and take it to your Eevee and it evolves into that.
Like, literally.
The Tim Stone.
The Tim Stone. That was good. All I'm saying is he literally like wore like a big ass jacket, like a puffy like 90s jacket that your mom or your grandma or whoever got you and put it on layaway and then finally took it off layaway and gave it to you. But you live in California and it's always hot, so you never need that big puffy ass jacket. So he just cut a hole in the center and made a dress out of it. I'm confused. He looked like a hood ass Cinderella. He looked like a hood ass non-conforming gender non-binary fucking Eevee. I don't even know what that means. Bitch. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we got way too many sounds. It's gonna be a fun and random show.
I think you put the Jamaican DJ thing
because I've been too damn busy.
And I went back to the gym today for the first time in like a year. Actually, 10 months, but still.
Debatable.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say a year.
Wow, he even agreed against himself? That's a first.
Nah, if I'm honest with myself, it was a year. Mentally, I was checked out for a year. It's kind of like trying to get back into college and finish that. And it's funny, like, just to talk about that for 1 second. It's weird. Like, I actually reached out for help, and like,
you can talk about this in your rant, bro.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. Like, you go to the gym, you work out, but the one time you actually like ask for a trainer's advice, and it's like, accountability is a good thing. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I think it's more of just having, someone in your corner, having someone to talk to in between sets and help you set up and keep you kind of focused. But
so accountability, somewhat. But yeah. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, in theory it is accountability, but
because accountability is gonna come up like 5 times.
It's more like self accountability than anything else. You just feel bad letting people down more so than like, oh, the trainer's going to do anything to you. But I guess that's a form of accountability.
Nah, it's more like, you know what? I'm used to doing everything on my own. I'm used to always doing stuff on my own. So it's like, all right, let me reach out. And by the way, I think it's more of vulnerability. So shout out to him.
It's more of vulnerability. You're embracing your vulnerability. You're becoming your authentic self. Congrats to you.
I just won't dress in like a big ass overcoat that like you should wear in Montana and nowhere on the West Coast.
Speaking of people who are becoming their authentic self,
or it looked like a blanket. I don't know. I don't know what Pharrell was wearing. I don't like. Where would you wear that outside of a photo shoot?
Jalen Ramsey's officially a Ram.
I called it. Let the record state. Kenneth Frank Jamesbury, called it. You were like, no, that's not going to happen. I was like, no, watch. The Rams are going to trade Marcus Peters and then trade for Jalen Ramsey because if I'm going to pay an elite corner, I'm not paying Marcus Peters over Jalen Ramsey. Even though Marcus Peters, which, by the way, shout out to that Rams game we went to, had a pick six that got them back in the game. So, yeah, I don't see – by the way, Aqib Talib's on IR with like a rib injury. So, that's interesting. But the fact that they got Jalen Ramsey and gave up 2 first-round picks, like I said, you would have to go with 2 first-round picks. I'm just saying, like, our archives don't lie, and me and Pete know what we're talking about. Like, a lot of these media people got that shit wrong. I called it a month ago and said the Rams are going to trade for him. I could see it happening.
Nah, it was like even before then.
Way before.
It was like week 1, like maybe even preseason.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to be humble, Pete. I'm trying to not be super braggadocious. But yes, I called it like probably in the offseason. Like, yo, Jalen Ramsey is going to be a Ram. And it just makes sense because if you look at and the best thing about that trade is they actually showed Marcus Peters respect by trading him to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like that dude was a great player for you, no matter what you want to say. It's your linebackers that failed you, if we're being honest. But the fact they traded him to a contender in the AFC and then got Kenny Young back.
Let's talk about it.
And I don't really care for UCLA players, but he was a Katrina kid, so shout out to him. Kenny Young, I think he was like a 6th-round pick for the Ravens. But the one thing the Ravens know how to do is produce quality inside linebackers. So kudos to them. You know, they gave up the Ravens gave up a draft pick to get Marcus Peters, and they lost Tony Jefferson to injury. But the fact that you have Earl Thomas and Marcus Peters in the same secondary with that Ravens defense, now teams can't just chuck it all over the field.
Here's the thing. I think you've kind of grazed over a lot.
Both teams won.
You've kind of grazed over a lot. But I think ultimately they had to move Marcus Peters because, one, he's going to be a free agent after this year.
They weren't going to pay him.
And you weren't going to be able to keep him and keep Jalen Ramsey.
I don't think they were going to pay him.
Yeah, I don't think they were going to pay him either, but they definitely weren't going to be able to pay him and Jalen Ramsey. And considering they gave up a 2nd-round pick just over a year ago to get him, they had to get something for him.
Yeah.
The second thing, the cost to get Jalen Ramsey, 2 first-round picks.
And a 4th.
2 first-round picks. It sounds okay, which is fine. I get it, but like
he was a top 5 pick.
I think
plays like a top 5 player.
I think the issue with giving up 2 first-round picks is that the Rams have given up their past 5 first-round picks,
and it's worked out.
It's worked out.
Brandon Cooks.
It's worked out, but is it sustainable?
As long as they don't keep giving away their 2nd and 3rd.
The last thing
picks.
you want to do is end up in the new stadium and your team is already labeled a choker or a regular season team, and then you get to the new stadium and you got 5 key players who get you to a wild card every year, but you can't get over the hump because you don't have depth across the offensive line and your running back is slowly declining.
Well, let's break it down like this. Dante Fowler was what?
Speaking of which, the Rams have the Jacksonville's 2014, 2015, and 2016 first-round picks.
Yeah, Blake Bortles is trash, but whatever.
It's just funny. Ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic. And what, Fowler was the 6th overall pick? Didn't he go after Khalil Mack?
No, I think he might have been 3rd. He was the next year.
Yeah, he was 3rd. He went before Khalil Mack, right?
No, he was the next year.
Oh, well, yeah. So, you had Fowler. Clay Matthews is out with a broken jaw, but he was a first-round pick. You had
Bortles went before Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Bortles went 3. Khalil Mack went 4.
Yeah. And you look at just how this team is set up, they got first-round picks at all key positions. Running back, receiver, defensive line, corner,
but what I'm
safety.
saying, in theory, what you're saying is right, but what you're missing is, one, we're already questioning Jared Goff and all that money. 2,
we were questioning him
Gurley's
before.
already plateaued, if not declining. 3, you could probably say the same thing about Cooks, who's plateaued.
No, he hasn't plateaued.
He's probably not declining.
Using him right,
but he's plateaued. He's not getting it any better than he was.
Cooper Kupp is like one of the leading receivers in the league because Brandon Cooks.
I'm not saying Brandon Cooks is sorry. I'm just saying
he's not declining in talent.
He's not getting better. You can't say he's getting better.
He's not been given the ball. if you don't throw him the ball, bro,
he's not doing anything.
Robert Woods
He's
and
not
Cooper
doing
Kupp
anything.
eat up most of those targets.
Exactly, and he's not doing anything we didn't see him do in New England and New Orleans.
But
and so now that his role is diminishing,
he was averaging 20 yards a catch in New Orleans, damn near. He was damn near averaging 20 yards a catch in New England. So when Brady got him the ball, he made plays. I get what you're saying,
bro, but
they're not giving him the ball.
What you're saying is like you're arguing
it's
the same thing.
You're
saying it's the scheme,
not talent.
You're saying it's the scheme, which is fair because I mean Sammy Watkins kind of went through the same thing.
No, Sammy Watkins is not on the level.
What I'm saying is he's still not getting better. He's still not doing anything different that he wasn't doing in New Orleans or New England. Regardless of if he's not getting the ball.
He runs a 4-3-3, bro. Like, what else you want him to do? He is what he is. If you put him on the Green Bay Packers, I guarantee you Aaron Rodgers would find a way to get him 10 catches a game.
But is he turning that into what is he turning that into? Like anybody can
production.
get
No.
Anybody in Green Bay can get a lot of catches.
Who on Green Bay is getting 10 catches?
We've seen it.
Outside of Devontae Adams, who can do that? No one's done that outside of Devontae Adams.
Have they drafted a receiver in the first round besides?
No, but they drafted like
Adams?
5.
Oh wait, they didn't even draft Devontae Adams in the first round.
He was the second round.
They don't
pick.
take receivers in the first round.
Okay, but I'm saying
you
have all this talent at receiver.
Tell me Brandon Cooks is getting better because he's not.
He is what he is.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. He is what he is. He plateaued.
But he not plateau. He's just a role player.
Exactly.
Like Khalil Mack is still getting better because he's a generational talent. Khalil Mack is still getting better. Leonard Floyd, bust.
Those are different. That's a totally different conversation.
Both pass rushers.
It's a different conversation.
Have talent. One's elite and the other one isn't. And you look at the Rams.
What does that have to do with Brandon Cooks?
I'm about to tell you who's the most elite talent in the Rams receiving corps.
Brandon Cooks.
You took way too long to answer because you knew what it was. It ain't Cooper Kupp and it ain't Robert Woods. Shout out to Robert Woods.
Because you're using 1,000 words to tell me your point that you could give me in 100.
No, I'm giving you context, and I'm telling you, like, one's an elite talent who doesn't get the ball. Gurley, elite talent, not getting the ball. Who's getting the ball in this offense? Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. And then they wonder why they don't.
It's the chicken before the egg. It's like you force the ball into the playmakers, but at the same time, those same playmakers are being schemed for and being taken away. They're the first option. They're being taken away. That's defense. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to adjust. So you're supposed to give these other guys different opportunities.
That's not stopping any other receiver in the NFL. DJ Chalk has like 600 receiving yards. Chris Godwin. Like their receivers.
Did you see what DJ Chalk put up last week?
That was different.
Exactly,
that
bro.
That was different. But he did. I think he still caught a touchdown.
But that's what I'm saying. You can only force the ball into a certain player so many times. The first few games.
I agree.
So what I'm saying is like you can blame it on the scheme, but the reality is like.
Can we just
great
be honest?
Players make great plays regardless of
Aaron Donald plateaued?
I mean,
did he plateau? Are you really going to say that? Or is it just he's the only pass rusher they have on that defensive line?
He's still the greatest.
Like he's still technique.
The top 2 player in the league.
Yeah, but how much can you take being in a defense that really doesn't suit you? He's an elite talent. That's why that defense works. But, oh, wow.
We got a social media serve late as...
She better have enchiladas. If she don't have food, I'm not fucking letting her in.
Man, I'm glad fucking that happened because I was tired of Kenny standing for the Rams for no fucking reason. And now we can't even eat because we're on the air, and we'll dry snitch on ourselves.
I can smell really good food, and I can't eat any of it.